right, what's up, guys? And welcome back to the Mfren podcast. So, in this podcast, I'm going to be recapping all the NHL trades that happened with the deadline ending just over an hour and a bit ago. Also, the reason I'm not dressed in a suit just for this video, I'm going about in an hour. I have to leave to go. Phone's ringing. Probably someone random. I don't know what that said, but regardless, so I gotta go to the arena in about an hour to commentate Niagara Predators game. They're in the second round of the playoffs against the North York Renegades. So their first game is at home, and then they have two away Saturday and Sunday, and it's a best of 5. So if they win at least one of these games on the weekend, they'll have at least one home game next Friday too as well. But so that's why I'm dressed up in the suit to go commentate the game. So I'm going to go upload this podcast once I'm done filming it, and then go upload it using the arena's Wi-Fi. So you'll see it about like a few hours after I finish filming it. But I'm going to keep it short and brief. Just kind of go over the trades that happened over the past few weeks. And then there's some trades that happened like over a month ago, leading up to the trade deadline. But I'm not going to go through every single trade because there's some where it's just like prospects for like picks, and it's like not thinking any really like major names. But I'll start off with like one of the first big ones that we had. So Vancouver traded Bo Horvat to the Islanders for Anthony Beauvillier, Atu Ratti, and a 2023 first rounder, which I think is a good move for both teams because Vancouver is basically like selling like the whole team, and Bo Horvat being the first one to leave. I don't know if Pedersen or JT Miller or Brock Besser have been traded at all, to my knowledge. I don't think, maybe some things could change in the offseason, but I think it was a good sign for both teams because Islanders need some more goal scorers, and Anthony Beauvillier has actually been scoring pretty good. Apparently, I saw a comparison tweet between the two trades, and Bo Horvat in like 7 games since being traded already has like 6 goals and 3 assists, and then in the 8 games that Beauvillier has played, he has like 9 points in like 10 games or something like that. So I think that was a good trade for either team. And then Bo Horvat also signed like an 8 years, $8.5 million deal to stay in Long Island too as well. And then one of the other big ones, we had Tarasenko go to the Rangers for a first rounder, a fourth rounder, Sammy Blais, and then Hunter Skinner. Because the Blues have been pretty garbage this year, and they traded away O'Reilly, which I'll get to in a second. And I'm not sure what they do. They might do in the offseason as well. But that was a big one for the Rangers. And again, they also got Patrick Kane too as well. So the Rangers are absolutely fucking loaded on their top 6 right now. But we'll see how much of a impact those players make once playoffs start. And then another big one so the Boston Bruins have been loading up too. They got Dmitry Orlov and Garnet Hathaway from the Capitals in exchange for a first, a second, and a third rounder, and Craig Smith from the Bruins, because the Bruins last year, their big acquisition was when they got Hampus Lindholm from the Anaheim Ducks. So I think Orlov's he scored like a goal in Buffalo's loss to Boston 7-1 last night. So he's been a pretty big addition to their team. A couple other random ones like Vitaly Kravtsov, one of the Rangers' recent first round picks from apparently 9th overall in 2018, was traded to the Canucks for William Lockwood and a 7th rounder. And then the Preds also traded away Nino Niederreiter to the Winnipeg Jets for a 2024 second round pick. Denis Gurianov went from Dallas to Montreal in exchange for Evgeny Dadonov. Apparently, because I heard that, Gurianov hasn't been the same since like the 2020 playoffs when Dallas went to the Stanley Cup against Tampa Bay in like the COVID bubble playoffs. He just hasn't been the same, and I think he only has like 13 points so far this year. So I think it was a good switch up for both teams. And one of the other bigger ones was Timo Meyer got traded from the Sharks to the Devils in exchange. Like apparently it's like a huge like there's like like if you look at this trade right here, there's like 7 players on each side getting traded. So the Devils got Timo Meyer, a 2024 fifth rounder, uh, Timur Ibrahimov, Scott Harrington, Santeri Hataka, and Zachary Edmond. And then the Sharks got a 2023 first round, Fabian Zuderland, Shakir Makuhamadulin, Nikita Oshatok, and then Andreas Janssen, and a 2024 second rounder and a 7th rounder. So a big trade. The Devils are loading up. I think that'd be a great mix. I'm not sure who he's playing with tonight. I think he might be sliding in with Jesper Bratt and Nico Hischier, I think. But I think he's going to make a big impact. And Timo Meyer is one of my favorite players on the Sharks because he was great for my fantasy team. And then I don't know why the Lightning gave up. They traded for Tanner Jeannot on the Preds, and they gave up Cal Foote, one of their defensemen they drafted in the first round back in 2018. And they gave up 5 draft picks, a first, second, third, and fourth, a first-round pick in 2025, so not for another 2 years, and then a 2024 second-rounder and a third, a fourth, and a fifth in this year's draft. So a lot of draft picks given up for just one guy. In the Sabres' first trade, they traded one of their third-round draft picks from last year's draft, Josh Bloom, to the Canucks in exchange for Riley Stillman. And he actually played in his first game last night with the Sabres and when they lost to Boston. But apparently he was making some big hits up there, so we need a little bit more physicality on the blue line for Buffalo moving forward if they want a chance to make the playoffs this year, because they're 3 points out of a wild card spot and 2 straight losses to Columbus and Bruins. So I think they needed a must-win game on Saturday against Tampa Bay, because their next like 6 or 7 games are all against teams like in the playoffs right now. So it's going to be a big, tough tough battle for Buffalo down the stretch. And then the Oilers traded Jesse Puljujarvi to the Hurricanes in exchange for Patrick Pustola, who I don't even know who the heck that is. Because I guess he just wasn't really panning out in Edmonton the way they wanted him to. The Leafs got rid of Rasmus Sandin and got a 2023 first-round pick in exchange for Eric Gustafsson. And then they also got another defenseman in Luke Shen, trading a 2023 third-rounder to the Canucks. So the Leafs were like bolstering up on their defense and stuff, because they traded away, they gave up so much to get O'Reilly. And then they also got Jake McCabe and Sam Lafferty too as well. So they've got the only players they've given up so far is Pierre Engvall and Rasmus Sandin. So I thought they might have been getting rid of Justin Holl or maybe Kerfoot, but I'm not sure what they're gonna do unless if they play unless if they put someone on IR or something to free up some cap space. Another big trade, 2 defensemen trading either. Matthias Ekholm goes to the Oilers in exchange for Tyson Barrie, a first-rounder, Reed Schaefer, and a 4th-rounder. And Edmonton gets a 6th-rounder. And another big one, Patrick Kane and Cooper Zek in exchange for a 2023 second-round pick, a 2025 4th-rounder, Andy Wolesny, and Vili Sajari. So, and apparently the Arizona Coyotes receive a 3rd-round pick in 2025 for retaining 25% of Kane's contract. So Chicago didn't even get a 1st-rounder for him. So basically the Rangers got him for basically nothing. They gave up 2 prospects who are pretty much unknown, to be honest, at this point. And then also Gavrikov and Korpisalo from Columbus got traded to LA in exchange for Jonathan Quick. Then he got flipped to Vegas, actually, because everyone was like, oh, he got screwed over, like sending him to Columbus, like an absolute shit team. And I was like, well, I think something is not going to sit right there. So then he got flipped for Michael Hutchison and a 5th-rounder to go back to for 7th-rounder, and then Columbus retains 50% of his cap hit. And then Another defenseman who got traded, Shane Gostisbehere, goes to the Hurricanes in exchange for a third rounder. And then Detroit, I don't know why, they gave up Philip Hronek, who was one of their good top defensemen, who played with Moritz Seider, and a 2023 fourth rounder in exchange for a 2023 first round pick and a 2023 second round pick too as well. And then the Jacob Chikrin sweepstakes finally ended because Ottawa somehow in the end got him, because Ottawa is like almost in a playoff spot too. Like it's 6 teams, like Buffalo, Florida, Detroit, Washington, I feel like I'm missing a team. Detroit, Ottawa, Buffalo, Washington, and Panthers are all fighting for the second wildcard spot, or maybe even the first one, along with Pittsburgh and the Islanders. So it's going to be a tough race, but apparently they got Chikrin. But apparently last night, he, since he hasn't played for a month because he's been healthy scratched because of mid-trade rumors, apparently he got injured last night, but I don't know how serious it is or if it's just a minor one. But Arizona gets a first and 2 second-round picks for 2023 and 2024. So I don't know how, because Buffalo was sort of in the mix to try to get Chikrin, but apparently I guess that didn't pan out, I guess. So, and then Buffalo's second trade, they traded the rights to Eric Portillo as a third-round draft pick, goaltender in 2019, and then Buffalo gets a 2023 third-round draft pick this year in exchange. So basically a third-rounder for a future third-rounder that we haven't drafted yet. So pretty fair trade. There was another big one. Oh yeah, so Mikael Granlund got traded to Pittsburgh for a 2023 second round pick. Tyler Bertuzzi got traded from Detroit to Boston for a 2024 first and 2025 fourth round pick. And another big one. Oh yeah, then we gave up Anders Bjork for literally nothing for future considerations because he's the guy, if you remember, we got him in the Taylor Hall trade like 2 years ago, and he basically did nothing for Buffalo, but he was basically just being a healthy scratch, or he was going to be an AHL guy at best in Buffalo, so they figured they sent him off to somewhere who actually like needs players. And then, actually like almost 24 hours ago, Max Domi got traded to Dallas along with Dylan Wells, who played on the Peterborough Peaches from St. Catharines, in exchange for Anton Khudobin and a 2025 second round pick. And then this morning, on the day of trade deadline day, I was checking my phone at work. A couple minor trades, like nothing too serious, like Curtis Lazar to Devils for a 2024 fourth rounder to Vancouver. Jacob Vrana got traded to St. Louis in exchange for a seventh round pick, so basically just gave him up for nothing. And Dmitry Kulikov went from Anaheim to Pittsburgh in exchange for Brock McGinn and a third rounder. And Buffalo made 3 trades today. They traded they traded their 2023 second round pick that they got from the Eichel trade and a 2024 fifth round pick in exchange for Jordan Greenway. Who's a 26-year-old, 6'6", like a big guy, toughness. It's only like $3 million cap hit, so like he's not gonna take up much of our cap space. And apparently he actually played with Tage Thompson when the U.S. won the gold medal for the World Juniors in 2017. And apparently I've also heard that, I saw in an article that he actually was coached under Don Granato, Buffalo's head coach, in 2014 to 2015 when he was a part of the U.S. National Development Program too as well. And we traded 2 AHL guys. Apparently Buffalo got Austin Strand in exchange for Chase Prisky. 2 pretty much AHL defenseman trades there. And then Buffalo, we also gave up Rasmus Asplund to the Predators in exchange for a 7th rounder in 2 years from now. And yeah, again, hasn't really done much. Mostly was a healthy scratch at most. And other than that, there wasn't. And John Klingberg got traded from Anaheim to Minnesota in exchange for a 2025 fourth rounder and 2 prospects. And then the Rangers made 2 trades to get 2 prospects, or AHL guys. Basically gave up nothing in return. So other than that, nothing too major. Like, they thought James Van Riemsdyk was gonna get traded. He didn't. They thought. Actually, maybe I'll check Twitter right now and see what all the TSN or the Sportsnet analysts are saying, because there maybe might be some last second ones that happened just before the deadline and stuff. I want to see what people said about the Asplund trade. Um, Maybe a fresh start for 74. Best of luck. Um, Hope he does well in Nashville. End of the era of Rasmus. Oh yeah, because now there's only one Rasmus on Buffalo. Because we used to have Ristolainen and um, Asplund too. And we had another, or there's Arturo Ristolainen. Apparently, like just a little bit different last name. Actually, wait. Kevin Adams, speaking on trading Portillo, says it became clear to him that this was not a market he wanted to play in and did not see a pathway to the NHL. It became more important to recoup that asset. And then someone quote tweeted saying, "If you're afraid of a little competition, you don't belong in the NHL." Oh yeah, because so he's another goal. So the goalie that we traded to LA, he thought it wouldn't be an easy path to the NHL because we also have another goalie prospect in Devin Levi. So he's like, "Oh, I don't want some competition." So, but it's like, buddy, your spot is never guaranteed. Like someone's always out there to take your spot in the crease and stuff. But anyways, but he probably would be like an AHL guy at best for our team, anyways. I'm not sure if anything else. It says Jordan Greenway comes with 2 more years at $3 million average a year. Sabres trade away a second round pick and a jar of olives for a defensive forward with size that helps a little now and later. Future non-sacrifice move made everyone pleased, right? Question mark. Oh, okay. Said actually, I want to see what people are saying about the Jordan Greenway. WW. I don't follow Minnesota. I'm sorry, but is he good? Nice addition. Needs a depth D2, which we do need. No offense, but I'm thinking, yeah, that's pretty much everyone's just recapping all the other trades today. Yeah, other than that, nothing else really big else happened today. That's pretty much it. Um, um, apparently here's something about the Leafs. With the Leafs not making any NHL additions today because Kyle Dubas made all of his trades like a week ago, with not making any additions today, they've left enough cap space to activate Matt Murray from LTIR in the coming days and sign Matthew Kynes to an entry-level contract when his NCAA season ends. Well, they barely did it. And apparently, yeah, so JVR says he was going to get traded, but apparently Pierre LeBrun tweeted out, Flyers GM Chuck Fletcher says he didn't receive a firm offer from any team on JVR. They says they spoke with one team about a trade concept, but it was conditional on that team making another move, and that move didn't happen. Worked the market hard past few weeks, but no fit. So, I want to know which team was actually trying to acquire him. And then apparently the Charging Buffalo, it's like a Buffalo PR tweets. Apparently says Adam says Don Granato was pounding the table for Jordan Greenway. Granato said, I know if we get him in our environment, I believe we're getting a really important hockey player. Yeah, because he just coached him in the past. So hopefully he pans out. I'm not sure. I probably will slot someone in the top 6. But yeah, hopefully he does good. I want to see what other people are saying on Buffalo's. And someone says, how does this affect LeBron's legacy? But yeah, so I don't know which team. Okay, regardless, if Buffalo doesn't make the playoffs, I'm hopping on the New Jersey Devils bandwagon, mostly just because of Timo Meyer, and I'm hopping on for the West Coast. I'm hopping on the Dallas Stars bandwagon because of Tyler Seguin and Ice Dogs legend Jason Robertson. So those are going to be my two teams. Maybe I might make a bet on that in FanDuel for the NHL Future Playoff Stars and Devils in the final. I mean, maybe it could happen. I think it would have to be Ottinger stands on his head in the crease for Dallas, and New Jersey has the ability to outscore their opponents every night. So it'll be an interesting to see. But also, I'm not like predicting this happens, but I'm hoping that the Leafs lose the first round because I want to see what happens to Kyle Dubas, and I want to see the Leafs Twitter just explode again because the same things happened the past couple of years now. But I feel like he's gone in too far to like not to afford to lose, because I mean he hasn't really given them too much. Like I think it would have been a lot worse saying they traded away like Nylander to get like, I don't know, let's say if they traded away Nylander to get like Travis Konechny and like Ivan Provorov from like the Flyers and like a first rounder, and then like they get swept to like Tampa Bay or something, and it's like, well, Dubas is fucked there and he's out of a job in Toronto maybe. But because I don't think apparently I've heard that he's not under contract for next year. So congratulations, your withdrawal for $300 has been approved. Perfect. Just got the FanDuel confirmation. Yeah, I won $300, $350 last Saturday. I took Dallas Stars money line, and I took Colorado Avalanche, and then I took the Sharks and Blackhawks game to go over 6.5 goals, and it just happened because it was 3-2 at the end of in the last second, a minute and a half to go. Sharks head up 3-3. So I'm like, okay, we're going to overtime. So okay, that's 7 goals, that's gonna hit, and then Dallas was losing to Vegas 2-1, and then Rupe Hintz ties it up with like 35 seconds left, and then they go in a shootout and win it. The shootout 2-0. So I was hyped there. But yeah, I'm hoping Buffalo can make the playoffs. Even like here's the thing: most likely Buffalo will get the second wildcard spot, and they'll play Boston in the first round. If Buffalo loses, as long as if they don't get swept and lose like the series 4-1, I'll be satisfied, because at least we broke the drought of not making the playoffs for like the last like decade or so. But I think it would be also hard if we missed out on the playoffs by like a point, or we were like 2 wins back of getting into the playoffs because like, we should have won this game and then we lost. Because I think that what's going to happen to haunt us is that 8-game losing streak we had back in like November. I think that might come back to haunt us. But again, yeah, a couple moves for Buffalo. Hopefully it pans out. I think Greenway should be a good physical addition to the team. If Stillman can be, then I think Greenway definitely should too as well. Like kind of like a Tom Wilson enforcer type of guy. But yeah, I guess only time will tell if Buffalo can make the playoffs, because again, like the next 7 games, like they play Tampa on Saturday or tomorrow at noon. And then it's like Edmonton, Rangers, Dallas. They got to play Leafs, which that game I'm going to actually. And yeah, like they play like pretty much majority of like their remaining 25 or so games are against all playoff teams. And then like a couple of games from like the Flyers and like Blue Jackets and like Nashville Predators in there too as well. So hopefully Buffalo can make a good run at it and make it interesting. And yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, what time is it? So it's 4:40 right now. I honestly thought I was going to be talking longer about this podcast, but I definitely think, I don't know who I'll say my Eastern Conference final, depending. I don't know how the final standings format will work out, but I will, or who, like which team ends up in which position. But I would say my East Conference final, ideally I'd like it to be like Bruins and Rangers, or Bruins and Devils, one of those two. And then for the West, I'd like either Dallas and Oilers, or maybe not Vegas, because fuck Vegas. Probably Minnesota, and I'd maybe see Colorado in there again too, or I think maybe Minnesota and Dallas. I think that'd be a good final. But yeah, anyways, I guess we'll only we'll have to wait and see until the playoffs start in about a month and a half or so. But anyways, that's going to do it for the Mfren podcast. Thank you guys for watching. I know this one was a little shorter than normal, but I'll probably stick to it again soon. This one, I guess, maybe just more of an update on like the NHL a bit and stuff too. But yeah, that's going to do it for this podcast. And other than that, I'm not seeing any more trades. So yeah, hopefully things pan out and for Buffalo and they can make a good run at it for the playoffs, because this is the first time they've actually had a chance to make the playoffs in like, I don't know, however many years, because the past couple of years, especially in 2018 and 2019 when they had that 10-game win streak and they were first in the league in like middle of November, and then they went to shit the bed. I'm wishing like they could do like a St. Louis Blues. Like at the beginning of like January 2019, they were like the worst team in the league, and then they brought up Binnington and like just went on a tear. Like I'm hoping we can do that. Like again, get Greenway in here, add the addition of Stillman, and then once Darlene and Alex Tuck are back in the lineup after being on IR, then Buffalo can just turn on the Jets and just fucking go on a tear and win like 7 games in a row, lose 1, then win like another 5 straight. Like, could happen maybe, but we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, that's going to do it for this podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you